The New York Islanders, in a very convincing fashion, defeat the Toronto Maple Leafs 6-3 on Saturday Night Hockey. Is there anything better than that? Especially being able to beat the Leafs. Just to give you a little bit of background on, I think you've heard me talk before on these podcasts that Saturday Night Hockey is always special to Canadians. And just to give you a little bit of background on that, the first year I started watching was the last year of the original six. Back in those days, the Americans didn't televise any hockey. Any game that was televised in the States was the Canadian crew going down and filming it. And they always put us way up in the rafters. So it was like watching from eye in the sky in the hockey games and whatnot. But back in those days, there was only Saturday night hockey. And it was either Montreal or Toronto, and then you got to see whoever they were playing. And it was always a big deal because Canadians love hockey. And then once expansion started, they decided to go to what was a Wednesday night game. And except here's the unique thing about the Wednesday night game. The Wednesday night game, they used to start at the second period. They didn't put the first period on TV. They just put the second and third on TV. So you got a little bit on Wednesday night, and then you got Saturday night hockey, and it's a big deal. And it was always the Leafs and the Canadians on. So it means a lot to Canadians. And I can tell you this, as a kid, when I lived in Ottawa, I went to Toronto in a minor hockey tournament, and I was all excited because Ottawa was always considered the smaller city to Toronto. So as a 12-year-old, I wanted to go around and explore all of Toronto and whatnot. And then we were given our billets, and the billets I got were in Oakville, Ontario, which is about a half hour outside of Toronto. And I was so disappointed as a kid. And Isaiah George is from Oakville, and he scored tonight, and I am super excited for him. I know all about Oakville. I played hockey there a whole bunch of times, but just to turn that story around, I was so disappointed. But what happened was the Billet family were actually farmers, and they took us out to this huge farm. They had three snowmobiles as a 12-year-old and threw me the keys to one of the snowmobiles and said, "It's yours for the time that you're here." And man, I had the best tournament I ever had. It was a great tournament. I loved it. Just a little something about Oakville there for Isaiah George. Congratulations to George going out tonight. So anyway, we have a huge game in front of us tonight. To my recollection, this is the fourth time, if not even more times than that, that we've been two games below 500 and had an opportunity to go three games below 500. And this was the biggest opportunity tonight to fall below three games, playing against the strong Leaf team, leading the division, leading the conference. So tonight was going to be a big challenge for us. And boy, did the Islanders step up. All of a sudden, we're only one game under 500. It was like having the Islanders A team out on the ice for the first time tonight. You know what? Our A team did pretty damn good against a very, very good Toronto Maple Leaf team. And I don't want to hear that they didn't have Austin Matthews. I don't care that they didn't have Austin Matthews. Nobody cared about us while we lost five guys in a span of a week and lost them all for 6 weeks. So the Leafs can play one game without Austin Matthews. You're going to get no tears from me, but the Leafs just didn't show up tonight. They didn't show up. They weren't there. I guess they thought it was going to be a cakewalk at home on a Saturday night against the Islanders, and they were just going to take it to us. And they thought really wrong because boy, did the Islanders ever have a complete game. Maybe one of their most complete games of the entire season. It was very, very nice to see. And another thing that was nice to see was finally a first goal from the New York Islanders, and it's Max teeing it off for us from Bo Horvat. What a beautiful play that was. It was a great dump in by Max, how he soft dumped it into the corner. Horvat got on his wheels, got in there, scooped around the net, put a perfect pass onto Siplikhov's stick, and without hesitation, he had it in the back of the net before you knew it. So all of a sudden, we jump out into a great start, only 147 into the game, but we've seen that story before, haven't we? But after the stretch of games we went without scoring the first goal, I'll take it any day. And within the 5-minute mark, Bo Horvat increases that lead to 2-0 on a snipe. an absolute snipe from him. And kudos to Romanov getting up the ice on that, making that play happen. That was just a beautiful, beautiful play all around. Great hustle by the Islanders. And lo and behold, we're up 2-0. We've seen this story before, but not lately. And so it gets a little bit scary, especially against a high powered team like the Toronto Maple Leafs. So, anyway, it's a lot to be excited about until Nylander scores, and he scores at around the 13-minute mark. And it was so disappointing because it was such a soft play by the Islanders. It was such a soft play by the Islanders defense. And Pelech and Pollock, they didn't have their best games tonight, and but that's okay. They got bailed out by a lot of other guys, but just horrible defensive play by both Pellick and Pollock on that one. So Nylander gets his 22nd of the year from Tavares and Oliver Ekman Larsson. So all of a sudden now they're back in the game, and you go, okay, yeah, where have I seen this before? However, my thoughts of that are quickly turned right around on a beautiful goal by JG Pajot, scoring his seventh goal of the year on a play by Lee and Romanoff. This was actually, I was talking about the play that Romanoff made on the first Horvat goal, but I actually meant it on this one. The way Romanoff hustled up the ice to make this play, get the puck to Lee, and then over to Pajot was a thing of beauty. And that was just a huge goal for us to go up 3-1 after one period, and we held them off for the rest of the period. So it was a big lift for the Islanders. And all of a sudden you started to think, hey, you know what? We look pretty good out in the ice there. And I would even go as far as saying we took it to the Leafs and we took it to them good. And all of a sudden you scratch your head and you go, this is really the first time we've had the Islanders A team on the ice since the first 5 games of the year. And anything can happen in the first 5 games of the year because you're coming out of training camp. So this is really the first time we've really had our boys together. And I'll tell you, they look good. They looked really good. So it's pretty promising going into the second period, up 3-1. And I thought overall, another good period by the Islanders. I really did. I thought they took it to the Leafs a lot. The shots were 12-10 in favor of the Islanders. The only problem is we had another defensive gaffe. And once again, is Pelech out there. And Nylander scores again. Now he gets his 23rd goal from Camp and Nice. And it's 3-2, and all of a sudden I go, oh well, it's too bad. I didn't actually give up on the Leafs at that moment in time because I thought we had the better of the play in the second period. Not as good as the first period, but I still thought we had the better of the play. So I thought, well, you know what? We're still playing pretty good. Then the rest of the period played out, and all of a sudden now you're looking at 3-2 after 2 periods, and you're thinking to yourself, wow, we're in Toronto and we're up 3-2 going into the third. That's a great place to be. So all the Islanders have to do is buckle down. The recent past hasn't been good to us on getting that done, but we really haven't had our whole team together either. So I'm hopeful for the third period, and I should be hopeful for the third period because Noah Dobson gets his fifth of the season from Holmstrom and Horvat, and what a beauty that was as well. Nice snipe by Noah there. And all of a sudden it's 4-2 and we're in the third period. This whole game has a completely different look to it now. Or pardon me, I'm so excited I'm out of order. It's Isaiah George scoring his first of the year to make it 4-2. And first NHL goal ever from Oakville, Ontario. How exciting that must be. His whole family and friends and everybody would have been in the stands to see that one. He played in London, which is just down the road from Toronto. How exciting is it for him to score his first goal there? Congratulations to Noah. Well done. Great wrist shot. And it was a beautiful pass by Anthony Duclair. So Duclair makes his impact known right off the bat. And it was a really nice play. Mayfield also grabbed an assist on that one. Nicely done by Scotty. And all of a sudden we're up 4-2 and we're feeling pretty good about ourselves. And that's when Noah scores his goal from Holmstrom and Horvat. Horvat with a 3-point night. All of a sudden we're up 5-2 and it is gravy from here because we are taking it to the Leafs in the third period as well. A little disappointed that Bobby McMahon scored a goal from Mercer and or Marner and McCabe at the end there. Well, it wasn't really at the end, but there's still 6 minutes left in the game. But I just thought it was a soft goal. And once again, it was defensive gas that didn't get it out. All three of our goals scored against us tonight were all solely on our defense. And then finally, we get something long awaited is an empty net goal, and it's Matt Barzell. I don't know how many times I've been preaching over the last 5, 6 years about getting Matt Barzell out on 5-on-6 because the difference between Barzell and other players is he'll put the puck in the net. And I don't know if you saw that one play on that Matt skated out from behind the net when there was a big scramble for the puck and Reeves was right on top of him and he just tore away from the entire team and went straight down the ice. And that was just such a huge exit from our zone at that time because we were getting pinned a little bit. So Barzell gets rewarded with an assist from Lee, and all of a sudden we're up 6-3, and it is gravy from there. And the Islanders pull off an outstanding 6-3 victory against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and this is huge for them. They go one game below 500. We got to play Toronto two more times in the next week, which is not a bad thing because then we'll just get them out of our way. And if we play anything about like tonight, I fully expect to win one of those two games. So I'm on a high right now. I'm excited to finally see our team back together. This was the team that got me excited in the preseason when I saw it together. And the one thing I want to say about tonight was for the first time this season, all season, I haven't seen this all season. We came in waves. We came in waves because we had the quality of lines to be able to come at waves. We did that like 3 or 4 times throughout the game. We came in waves. And that was so nice to see where we absolutely dominated the play. That line left, next line came on, and they just kept it going. We just haven't had that this year because we've been solely relying, which seemed like whatever line Siplikov was on, we'd be riding that line that night. But tonight it was just line after line after line, and the fourth line was the best the fourth line has been all year. Uh, and we all know why. But anyway, so super excited about a 6-3 win for the Islanders, but we're going to talk about the players right now. All right, so first up to bat is Max, and I always go by order of numbers. I always go lowest to highest by the box score that I get. So let's talk about Max. Just another outstanding game by Max, getting a beautiful goal, 17 minutes, 38 minutes of ice time, 2 shots on net, plus 3 tonight, plus 3 tonight. His forechecking is outstanding. I've said it once. I've said it a million times. Whatever line Maxim Sipkov is on is the Islanders' best line. And once again, that proved tonight. Horvat had a whale of a night playing with Max. Who wouldn't have a good night playing with Max? So just another super night by Max. Just all the stuff that he does, all the zone exits, the passes, the shots, the forecheck, the body check, all of it. Great job. Great job. And a really good game by Holmstrom tonight, too, as well. It was nice to see Simon step up. He got himself a +2 tonight in 16 minutes of ice time. Picked up a couple of apples tonight for 2 points. So that's an awesome night for Simon. Also grabbing a couple shots on net. Well done, Simon. It was sure nice to see number 11, Anthony Duclair, on the ice, and he's scooped himself an assist tonight. It's a good way to come back, make your presence known. He was a -1 tonight, but that's okay. You know, first game back from playing. He only got 15 minutes of ice time. We're kind of easing him in a way, but what a difference just that extra body, a good body makes. And I talked about earlier how we were coming in waves tonight, and obviously it's because we can put a quality player like Duclair up there on the top lines, and everybody all of a sudden starts fitting into the right positions. It's not the lines I would have went with tonight, but you know what? The lines that Patrick went with tonight worked really well. So who am I to say? So really nice beginning for Duclair. Matty Barzell. This was for me game one back from the injury. This looked like Matt. He all of a sudden seemed to have his legs more, looked a little more comfortable. We talked about it earlier. I think what is this game four? I said it was going to be 5 games, and he's right on schedule. Getting that empty netter had to feel good tonight. Puts him up at a +2. Got 17 minutes of ice time. He was making things happen. Once again, the whole wave effect with the team because I have Matt back and Duclair back. It just makes a world of difference for this team. So really nice game by Matt. He was flying out there, looked a whole lot more comfortable. Bo Horvat, wow, what a game. He has been on fire uh since he finally scored a goal. He gets picks up 3 points tonight, a goal and two assists, and is +2 in only 15 minutes of ice time. I was a little bit concerned about Bo because his ice time was a little bit lower than everybody else. And Butch mentioned it earlier tonight. I still think that Horvat may be dealing with something, and, which is remarkable because he had a 3 point game tonight. And if he's dealing with something and doing that, I'll take it every time. But I would prefer to see him healthy. But Bo is back to shooting again. He got 4 shots on net. And that was another thing about Barzell. We always hated that he didn't shoot, but he got 5 shots on net tonight. So ever since Matt's been coming back, he's shooting the puck. So that's good to see. But just a banner night by Bo Horvat tonight. Really solid game. Like I said, 3 points, 4 shots on net, 15 minutes ice time. Hudson Bashing, I thought was very good on the fourth line tonight. And like I said, I think this was the best our fourth line has looked. I think we all know why. It's the combination of the people that were playing on the fourth line. So that was huge. Hudson did his part. 11 minutes of ice time definitely didn't hurt us. We weren't getting hemmed in. We got hemmed in once by on the fourth line, but that's it. But it wasn't a really bad hemming in. So other than that, pretty good. Kyle Palmieri, 18 minutes of ice time tonight. I thought he looked good, but like he was part of the reasons why we were coming in waves and whatnot, but he didn't make anything happen tonight, and he was a -1. Only got 1 shot on net. And but this is the thing. You can't have everybody firing on all cylinders tonight. And I've said this before. I really think when Siplikov leaves, Palmieri and Nelson, they really suffer. The two of them, two of our players. I would still like to take my chances and put Siplikov back with those guys because they got magic. Palmieri is just not the same player tonight without him. It's crazy. They're like magic together. But you still can put Horvat, Barzell, and Duclair together if you want, and Pajot and Lee on the third line. We've got options. We've got options right now, but it's okay if Palms didn't produce tonight because we had another line producing tonight, and that's how you win by committee. And I've talked about this all year long. Anders Lee, another solid game. 2 apples again, +1. Does it in 15 minutes of ice time, plus gets 3 shots on net. So Anders doing Anders things this year, and he's been nothing short of sensational for the Islanders this year. He really has. He's been a great captain for us, leading by example, and he is producing like a demon this year. So well done. Brock Nelson, same thing as Palms, -1, 17 and a half minutes of ice time, no shots on net. So nothing happening for Brock tonight. That line was kind of dormant. They didn't do a whole lot, but that happens. I'll be more. Ever since Sipakov has left the line, they just haven't been clicking. I'll be keeping an eye on it next game, but who knows? By next game, Sipakov could be back with Brock and Palm, so you just don't know. But if there's one thing that I notice is those two guys are really suffering with the absence of Sipakov on their line. Kyle McLean, I thought he had an excellent night. I said the fourth line I thought was really good. And it was really nice to see the jump that Kyle had in his game. It was, kind of remind me a lot of last year. He got 12 minutes of ice time. And once again, Casey comes in with the lowest amount of ice time. However, I thought Casey had a better game. And this is what I said. The one way that Casey is going to be effective for us is put him in between like a McLean and a Fashing or a Gauthier and a Foodie, just not a Matt Martin right now. That's about the only thing you can't do on the fourth line right now. And I know it's a shame because I know the Islanders are desperate right now and they need wins, and that's why Martin hasn't been in the lineup. But I still know that they're going to get him that 1,000 games, and I don't know what the number is, but it's still pretty high amount of games for him to have to play to get to that 1,000 this year. So. First and foremost, let's get back into the playoff race. All right, let's talk about defenseman. Adam Pelech had a rough night. I am going to write this off to him being injured, and he's only back for his fourth game of the year. He got 22 minutes of ice time, but he was unsat tonight. Like he was a -3, and so was Pollock. The two of them, they were a tire fire tonight. We scored 6 goals tonight. 6 goals tonight, and we only gave up 3. And you walk out of the game as a -3, and none of our goals were power play goals. How is that even possible? I'll tell you how it's possible if you play like absolute garbage. And I'm gonna. I don't want to come down on Pellick too hard because he just came back, and I don't want to come down too hard on Pollock because he's had such a stellar season for us so far, and he was the guy who led the team while we were down in injuries. I mean, Ryan still managed to get 3 shots on net, but my God, they were awful tonight. You're not going to hear me say that a lot from them. So imagine what will look like once Pellick and Pollock play at the same level the rest of the team is playing at. I'm thinking positive. We're not out of this season yet, folks. We're not out of this season yet. Do not give up. Toronto Maple Leafs are one of the best teams in the league this year. I don't know if they will be in the playoffs because they haven't proved that they can do it in the playoffs, but as a regular season team, they're one of the best teams in the league, and we took it to them. So this team is going to be there at the end. We're going to be competing one way or another. Nice game by Noah Dobson tonight. Didn't notice too many defensive gaffes. He was a +2. Also picked up an assist tonight as well. He did it in 23 minutes of ice time, and he got 1 shot on net as well. So good for Noah. Nice game. Scott Mayfield, get a load of this, people. Get a load of this. I have been talking about Scott, how he is our plus minus leader this season, that he's always on the right side of things. And so he doesn't look fancy. He's just a warrior, but he did pick himself up an assist tonight for a point. But guess what? Scott Mayfield was +5 tonight. +5. +5. Chew on that, Adam and Ryan. +5. Great game, Scotty Mayfield. Great game. And he did +5 in less than 16 minutes. Like, that is just outstanding. Alexander Romanov, I thought, had an excellent game as well. He had 2 assists tonight. That play he made to get into the play to make it happen and get that goal for us was just outstanding. So nice to see some offensive production from Romanov. 2 points. That's just outstanding. So +2 for him as well. 2 shots on net, 2 blocked shots. That's more like the Romanov game that we're used to. And how about Isaiah George scoring his first goal of the year, +3 in his hometown, 15 minutes of ice time, 3 shots on net, 2 blocked shots. And that is just outstanding. Mom and Dad must have been so happy for you tonight. I'm so thrilled for Isaiah. That's just one of the fun things to watch in hockey when you see something like that happen. As for Sorokin, another good night for Ilya tonight. Yeah, he let up 3 goals, but he was there for us when he had to be. They were good goals that they scored against him and whatnot. So I'm not worried about Ilya. It was outstanding. It was outstanding to see Ilya get the chance to pick up the win tonight because he deserves it. The Islanders played well. They deserve it as a whole. I'm pretty excited about this win. I think it's the way they did it and who they did it against. Now, granted, I still think the Leafs laid an egg tonight. I don't think they showed up. I really don't. And they've actually been consistent this year, which they haven't actually been a really consistent team over the years, but they've been pretty consistent this year. So for the Islanders to go out there like that and do that, it makes me think some good things for the future for us. So I know I have a couple more points, but off the top of my head, I can't think of them right now. So I think I'm just going to have to end it there and just say, pretty happy about it. We need to start moving our way up. We need to start winning some games. This is a good way to do it. If we could win our next game going into the Christmas break, that would be fantastic. Give us a huge positive. Give all our returning guys a chance to reset for a couple of days at home on the Christmas break. We're at home for the Christmas time for the guys, so they'll be with family and everything. So that's all a positive. I don't know about you, but I personally needed the 3 day break the Islanders just had with no games or nothing because, well, I also do the podcast, so I had that to deal with as well. But I needed a mental break from the Islanders badly. So, and then to come back refreshed tonight, Saturday night hockey, I was pumped for it. And then the Islanders to deliver the way they did deliver tonight, pretty exciting stuff. Anyway, I hope all you guys and girls out there are having a great Saturday night. You take care and peace out.